Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Now, it's real time.
Welcome back, everyone. We're lucky enough to have David Johnson from David Johnson's Guide Service here in the studio. We're going to talk some hatchery stuff. We're going to talk about, of course, winter steelhead. We're not going to waste this opportunity to not get some insight from David on that. But first things first, man, it's good to see you.
Thanks for having me in.
And I know that you're a world traveler, right? So, I mean, this is the time of year where you start covering a lot of ground.
Yeah.
So you're not going to actually be chasing steelhead until you get back in that later.
Pretty much. I'll probably fish in January. I'm only around for about 5 days and 5 days, so I'll probably fish personally during that time in January. But
and then when he goes on vacation, he's fishing.
And we're going fishing.
But fishing in a part of the world that every one of us, all of you, would love to go, I can guarantee it. At least the vast majority of folks. Okay, so before we talk steelhead, right, because it's a leading edge, would you call it? I mean, there was definitely some fish caught in November, which was actually kind of, I actually got reports of fish caught on Thanksgiving, like old school days, right? Back when we were young. Yeah. Which I think I'm younger than you, but it's not been that way for a long time. So technically, middle of December, you know, you'd still call this that front edge of winter steelhead fishing. Yeah. But we're going to get to that. But I want to talk about some of the work that you do with hatcheries, and it turns out, that's kind of how you got involved in fisheries, is you actually went to school for it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I always wanted to be a guide, you know, and I always wanted to fish. Folks said, get a degree so you have something to fall back on. So I went to school for fisheries, worked a few seasonal jobs, got a guide license, and never looked back.
Right, and I get it.
But I worked a couple of summers in Alaska at a giant fish hatchery up there, a remote fish hatchery, and that was really fun. And so I actually, when I get time off, and usually this time of year, rivers are blown out, so I can't work, and also a bunch of fish come into the hatchery. So I usually try and go down and volunteer at the hatchery with the Tillamook Anglers Club. Gotcha. A bunch of other guys are down there doing it too, and fish go to the food bank, or we spawn them, different things like that. And then, of course, throughout the winter, I like to do the broodstock collection.
Sure, which is, we all love that. Thank you for the efforts that you and the other guides and everybody does for that, because it's great for everything. But I think Ryan may have shown you a couple of video clips here. Can you tell us kind of what's going on here? Like this here, this is on the Trask?
The Trask Hatchery. This was last Tuesday, and they're spawning some fall Chinook right there. Okay. It's kind of the tail end of those are more of an earlier fish. They had 6 hens, and they did about 8 bucks. And he just stripped the eggs out of that fish. And
now, this is something that you do, they do this yearly when you have the opportunity. You go and volunteer. Yes. Like you said, those are fall Chinook, and I can see a bunch of fire trucks there, a lot of silvers.
Yeah, these are all coho. Most of those are going to the food bank. Okay. Those are all hatchery coho. They selected some for spawning, and some of the really scabby ones, they just went to stream enhancement. Okay. And then those are gonna, a bunch of those, especially the bright ones, are gonna go to the food bank for local people in Tillamook to eat.
So this is, I mean, helps the fish out, it helps the community out, and you mentioned that river enhancement, right? Yes. Tell us what the river enhancement is with the hatchery fish.
So it just fertilizes the river, you know, the carcasses of those rotting fish, you know, in the natural cycle, as those fish come in, spawn, their bodies decay, bring nutrients from the ocean to the mountains and to the rivers.
So it's biomass to help the little fish as they're
going. Yep,
Which
part
makes
of the whole
sense.
Cycle. You know, we've lost that. You know, it's not, that's why Alaska, you know, all those trout and why there's rivers are so rich with fish, because they have fish to fertilize it.
Right. Yeah. And in here in Oregon, we can't do that ourselves most of the time, but the hatcheries can do that when they're spawning those fish out, which is a great thing. It can be, it's been a bit of an issue over the years on that particular subject, but they're doing some great work there at those hatcheries along the coast. Now, you mentioned there was a lot of silvers. December is now closed on the vast majority of rivers up and down the coast for fall Chinook. Yeah. High water, you know, typically in December, it's very difficult to target Chinook, but now you're not allowed to do it at all. Right. Any light at the end of the tunnel on that?
There is. I was told at the hatchery, they told me that this is the 4th year after, so they had like about 4 years ago, they had a problem with low water, and there was a die-off. and that was a result of a parasite that's in leeches.
Okay.
And so the life cycle of this parasite is it lives in leeches. Leeches live in the leaves that are on the bottom of the river.
Yeah.
Normally, the river blows out and flushes those leaves.
Sure.
And about 4 years ago, we had a really low water year, and on the bottom of all those deep holes were just stacked up with leaves
thick,
and leeches, and the salmon were dying off, and they found a lot of Chinook dead on the bottom.
Okay,
bright Chinook that were dying before they could even spawn. So that supposedly is their you know, reason that it's been closed. But we're now past that generation, or this is the last year of that generation. So we should get more fishing, more seasons for those fish. Also, they are doing a third of their hatchery production are late Chinook now.
Oh, okay.
At the Trask anyway.
Gotcha.
You know, that's about, well, the Nestucca has a run too, but
sure.
They're an earlier fish.
So there might be an opportunity someday to fish in December again?
Hopefully, because, you know, I mean, really it's self-regulating. You know, what do we get? The weather we get in December is what we got now. It's blown out.
Yeah.
Or a lot of times it's really cold and clear and low. Both times there's hardly any anglers. You know, if it's really low and clear, you could drive those rivers and see 1 or 2 trailers.
Right.
You know, nobody's fishing for them. So really, are they catching that many fish? Also, when it's blown out. So
yeah, same thing. So, I mean, I get it. You know, it's just one of the things that I've always loved, that December fish.
Right. Plus, we got those silvers. See all those silvers in that picture?
Yeah.
Those were all broodstock silvers that were from
way awesome. Yeah.
wild stock. And so those are a late fish. And you can see there was some pretty bright ones in there.
Yeah, there really was. When you mentioned that some of them were going to the food bank, that was my thought. Is, okay, they're probably not sending the boots or the fire trucks there. They're sending all those brighter fish in.
Yeah.
And those fish are still going to be delicious if you love silvers like most of us do. Those things are fantastic. But that's something that you get a chance to do as a guide, right? You participate in the Broodstock program. For salmon as well as steelhead?
For those coho salmon for steelhead, yes. Right. Yeah, most of those coho that they get for broodstock are coming from the trap. Some of them come into the Trask Hatchery. Up at the prison camp, there's a trap that they get some wild coho in. And then usually once a week, the biologists go out and several anglers will go with them, and we'll fish. It's pretty fun. Get the fish closed waters.
Yeah, okay, very cool.
And they bring the aerated truck down there, and we will catch wild coho out of closed water with nobody around. And they go into the truck, and they go to the hatchery, and that's where we get those fish.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, what? I mean, really, I want to go in there. That's why they don't do it that way, everyone, because there'd be 100 people out there trying to get in there. So, no, it makes sense. And it's great management, too. It's hopefully something that can expand, in particular up into Washington. I mean, it'd be great for those folks to have some programs that are actually beneficial. It's nice that the Tillamook County folks are very much in the forefront of understanding how to do this.
A lot of volunteers, yeah.
It's very, very cool. All right, so I want to talk with you about, of course, winter steelhead. Now, I know that you're not going to actually be guiding for them here anytime soon, but Dave's knowledge and experience with winter steelhead is second to none. So we're going to spend some time this upcoming segment, a little techie, talk about some of the things that he likes to do, as well as maybe how he would go after. Let's just say he was going to go fishing tomorrow. You saw what the rivers were doing. They're dropping in a small window of opportunity. So is that something that we should talk about? Yeah, because what if you're going to go? We'll get his advice on how he might go after them in those conditions when we come back from this break. We'll be right back.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. And by Procure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective.